I'm a big lover of the tchotchkes. We didn't have a lot of artwork growing up in my home or my grandparents' home, but we always had these little collectible figurines. They sort of seem as cheap and lowbrow, right? But for my family, they were super precious. And so I grew up looking at those little itty bitty figurines. They seem, I don't want to say harmless, but they seem natural. Like, well, of course, in the middle of Brooklyn in a Puerto Rican home, you'd have these 18th century white figures in fancy gowns. My name is Joann Quiñones, and I'm an artist at the Arts Industry Residency. I'm really interested in looking at material culture and seeing what those artifacts convey about how people were hoping to present themselves in the world. Because I think inherently those things tell us who as a society we think is important and who we think is not important. I didn't take a real traditional route to being an artist. I actually taught English and literary studies for 17 years. Around 2009, 2010, the world was falling apart in terms of racial dynamics. Teaching students how to read and write always felt like a big part of social justice, but it didn't feel enough under the circumstances. I had a sabbatical, and I wanted to focus on learning a new vocabulary to figure out how to get people to talk to each other and listen to each other. So I started crashing all my colleagues' art classes. And around 2016, there were no more classes for me to take. And so I went and got my MFA. The project that I proposed here, it's called American Noiseries, and it's sort of a play on chinoiseries, decorative arts prevalent in the 18th century. And I'm really fascinated by this time period because it's the age of enlightenment, and it's also the time where we have the global slave trade. The figurines are really fascinating, right? Because there's usually like people frolicking, and it's very heterosexual, and everyone's very white, and everyone's very frolicky, happy. I'm really interested in playing with these figurines to see how can I remix them, revamp them, to say, yeah, Black and brown people have always existed. And also, queer people have always existed. There are a lot of residencies out there, but to have the level of support that we have is extraordinary. I was really excited about that it's actually on the factory floor and that you get to see the level of skill and dedication. And it's been really amazing to see how much handwork a lot of the folks here are doing. I'm gonna be 50 years old, big life change. Why do any of this? I think a lot of it is because art is a way of leaving those love letters to a next generation. It really is about leaving people with representations, physical representations of life can be different if we can imagine it differently. And that's good work to me. That's worth it.